The year was young, filled with the promise of new beginnings and fresh starts. Hope, a fragile thing, flickered in the hearts of men, women and children alike. But a shadow fell across the land, darkening the skies and casting long, eerie shadows. Fear, silent and cold, crept from state to state, seeping into every corner. It started subtly, a whisper of unease in the bustling cities, a murmur of anxiety in crowded streets, a tremor of dread in the quiet towns where silence became deafening. No one knew where it came from, this creeping terror, this invisible menace. But it spread like wildfire in the dead of night, unstoppable and relentless. It stole into homes, wormed its way into conversations, turning whispers into shouts. Soon, the nation was in its grip, a collective shiver running down its spine, a nation holding its breath, waiting for the horror to unfold, uncertain of what the future held. Then, the screams began. Not screams of joy, not the happy cries of children playing in the summer sun. These screams were different. These were the sounds of nightmares come to life. The first to fall were the stars, those beacons of light and laughter. Their names, once synonymous with glamour and joy, were now whispered in fear. The newspapers, those heralds of the everyday, became chronicles of tragedy. Each headline, stark and unforgiving, announced another life brutally taken, another soul lost to the darkness. Panic seeped into the very fabric of America. Every shadow held a threat, every stranger was a potential killer. Trust, that precious commodity, evaporated like dew under a scorching sun. People barricaded themselves in their homes, their eyes darting to every darkened window, their ears straining for any telltale sound. The laughter of children was silenced, replaced by hushed whispers and worried glances. The streets, once alive with the rhythm of life, were now deserted, echoing with an eerie silence. Section 4. The brink of chaos. The nation, already fractured by social and economic anxieties, began to crack under the weight of terror. Suspicion reigned supreme, spreading like wildfire through the hearts and minds of the people. Accusations flew like bullets in a Wild West shootout, each one more damaging than the last, tearing apart the fragile fabric of society. Old grudges resurfaced, fueled by fear and paranoia. Neighbors turned against neighbors, friends became foes, and families were torn apart. The very foundation of the nation, the trust in one another, crumbled. What once held the community together now lay in ruins. The whispers started, whispers of conspiracies and cover-ups. These whispers grew louder, echoing through the corridors of power and into the streets. The seeds of doubt, sown by fear, took root in the fertile ground of uncertainty. Every rumor, every suspicion added to the growing sense of dread. The nation teetered on the brink, its future as uncertain as the shadows that haunted its nights. The edge of chaos loomed ever closer, threatening to engulf everything in its path. Section 5. Scars on the nation's soul. The killings eventually stopped. The reign of terror brought to an end. The streets, once filled with fear and chaos, began to see a semblance of normalcy return. But the scars remained, etched deep into the nation's soul. These were not just physical scars, but emotional and psychological wounds that would take generations to heal. The fear lingered, a ghost haunting the bright lights of Hollywood and the quiet corners of small-town America. It was a fear that crept into everyday life, altering the way people interacted and viewed their world. Trust, once broken, proved difficult to rebuild. Communities that once thrived on mutual respect and understanding now found themselves grappling with suspicion and doubt. The nation, forever changed, moved forward, but the memory of that horrific chapter remained, a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of civilization. It served as a stark warning of what could happen when fear and hatred take hold. The whispers persisted. The questions remained unanswered. People continued to seek closure, but the full truth seemed always just out of reach. The murders became a dark legend, a stain on the fabric of history. They were stories told in hushed tones, reminders of a time when the nation faced one of its darkest hours.